It is I. Hello. I am almost done with working on these magic items, and I am going to finish it this afternoon. It's also too bright, so I'm going to pull this down. There we go. It's a little... I also need to turn on some music. It's a little too loud. There we go. So, we got up to V on Monday. And I think there's like 12 more magic items. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, there is 12. So yeah, that is what we're doing today. It's probably going to take me a couple hours, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. I don't know. I'm just going to fucking go. It's probably going to take me about an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'm going to go until I am done. And then I'm probably going to sit around for another like 15 minutes or so, and I might do it during the stream as well, as just kind of talk about the kind of, and try and come up with ideas of other stuff I want to do, because this is normally like a Monday stream thing, but I'm so close to finishing this, and I don't want to use another Monday on it, that I'm just going to finish it now. I had wanted to had this done before our Repository 2 came out, so I could update Repository 1 and release Repository 2 simultaneously. I didn't get to do that, so because this took fucking ages. I'm sure I could have gotten this done in January, but I had a lot of other shit going on in January, so I didn't. If I remember correctly, the repository came out like January like 28th, or was it February? Was it this month? No, it was February 4th. That's what it was. So yeah, the repository's been out like it's been out just under 3 weeks. I don't like. I'm really bad at like promoting my stuff. Like I just don't do it like at all. Yeah. I realize like the repository is like the kind of thing that would do really well in various circles. So I really should kind of like get on that, really. But here we are. Either way, I'm gonna carry on and look at the next magic item. Is the Wand of Shards. Wand, rare, requires attunement by a spellcaster. Let me just like double check the sentence. Hey, I say welcome in. Pretty good. I'm finishing up a big magic item project and redesigning old magic items. That's basically what I'm doing. And I'm just making a start now. Thank you very much for following. I tend to do like I work on D&D stuff. Like I sell nonsense on the guild. And sometimes I work on some of that on here. On a Monday, I usually do D&D related design stuff. And for the last like 2 or 3 months, I've been sorting out these magic items. There is quite a few. Yeah, slow scroll. What page am I at? 42 pages. Remain loosely connected. So this wand, once made from a single crystal, was shattered long ago, split into hundreds of tiny shards that remain loose. There we go, grammar stuff. That remain loosely connected through their magical bond. There we go. Grammar is hard. Gives you like baby half cover, kinda. Or not even kinda, just kinda gives you baby half cover. Yeah, say I assume you mean an honors degree. Like, UK doesn't have that, but I'm like loosely familiar with the concept. I'm assuming that's what you mean anyway. But yeah, I say it's any kind of like end of like major higher and further education coursework is a fucking nightmare. I have like the lower end taste of, you know, I haven't written anything like a dissertation before, like I didn't go to university. But I did a further education diploma, which is like 16 to 18 kind of school age. And at the end of every year in that, you do a final major project, which is a lot of coursework. I forget, like, it is nowhere near like dissertation length, but it is sort of the step below, you know, in sort of length and complexity. Let me try and... I don't actually remember how long it was. I'm actually curious as to how long it is now that I've brought it up. Let me find my ED2 FMP. There it is. How many pages is this thing? It's still working it out. It is still thinking very hard. It is thinking, and it is struggling. Oh yeah, so it's a whole situation. I didn't do A levels because I was told by teachers that if you're a coaster at sort of GCSE level, which is the level below, then you will fail A levels because you don't have the discipline to actually succeed at exams that are genuinely really hard. And I was like, fair enough, I believe you. And so I didn't do them. I went and got a diploma, which is not a university diploma or a baby shit further education diploma. How many words is it? 60,000, and it is 115 pages. So it is... I forget how long the expected dissertation length, or the average. I think it's like 100,000 or something. I don't know. So it's been a while. Like, I think if I'd had gone, I would be doing a dissertation. I would probably be starting my dissertation right now, in fact. But I didn't. So I'm not writing one. I'm doing this instead. Much more rewarding. It's not. Additionally, the wand has... the wand has... Oh yeah, I've always kind of like hated but kind of understood the like the cutthroat first year idea. It's like any sort of schooling thing will make the first year the hardest year. Just the most, like, with the most expectation and the most workload. Which is like, I get it, but also why? It's I don't know, it's a very strange system that like makes total sense when put into, you know, a sentence. That's a bot. Bot is gone. I killed it. But that's how it is, I guess. Additionally, the wand has 6 charges, regaining 1d4 plus 2 charges daily at dawn. Is this on a new line? Probably. I need to go look at an item that has charges. see I've worded this elsewhere. Oh, there we go. Spells. I need to go look at like. I need to go look at like a wand, or like a wand of fireballs or whatever. I don't think a wand of fireballs actually. No, it does. It does require you. I just know I want like a start. I should always just stick to the Staff of Power. It's my go-to. I can't think of a wizard magic item, and I just think of the Staff of Power. It always comes to mind. That's something I need to look at. Because I need to check some of my other... I just noticed an inconsistency with the way I've done something. I need to go check that. Beast. And make dead bestow cast, blight, contagion, hot person. Yeah, yeah. Because I took this out of this magic item when it actually needs to be here. Do I need one here? Walnut stone erupting out stone skin? No. Do I need one here? No. Okay, right. I can remove this now. Cast one of the following spells from it using your spell save DC. Now, what are the spells that I gave this? 2 spells exactly. I gave it Crystal Breath, which is a spell from my book, The Archive of Esoteric Secrets, the first one specifically, 4 charges. Let me just make sure that's actually correct, and I didn't like change Crystal Breath's level in the update or something. I don't think I did. Yeah, still a 4th, it's fine. Crystal Breath. I also gave them Shield, which like is a very good is a good spell. It only had 2 spells attached to it, and that feels like a mistake. It should definitely have something else. Like I feel like 3 spells is like the minimum. What is this? This is a rare item. Okay. Yeah, I mean I guess it gives you this. It gives you a couple spells. It also gives you Shield as well, which is amazing. So this is basically what all of these... I completely lost my train of thought mid-sentence. That happens a lot. But basically what this is all of these magic items, I actually have them open on another document over here. I just realized I moved it onto my other screen for you to see it, but I'm not sharing that screen, so it doesn't mean anything. But this is... all of these magic items are an old product. On the left over here is the Repository of Arcane Oddities 2. I put that out 3 weeks ago. And all of these are from the first one, which I'm going back and updating, because it is old and is not up to the standard that I wanted it to be. So this is the Wand of Shards is a wand that is made up of broken crystals, and they're kind of held together by magic. So it's all crystal themed stuff, which D&D doesn't have a lot of. So I'm gonna go scan through spells and see if I can see anything interesting. Oh, I very specifically cannot use Wild Mount stuff. What's the other thing I can't use? Yeah, the generally speaking, DM's Guild creators or whatever will, if there is a significant problem, oh, there's a formatting issue, I'm going to go and fix that. But yeah, if something is just old and isn't up to design standards, they will just leave it because they've got shit to do. But this Monday stream is a time for me to do whatever I want, and if that involves spending 12 weeks going back and updating an old product, then that's what it involves. I did basically the same thing for the first spellbook that I did, the archive. I did that last year, before the second archive came out, also last year. Let me look. I'm trying to think of like interesting spells that it could actually give you. Absorb Elements is a generically very good spell. Chromatic Orb. No, they already get like something a little bit like it. Fairy Fire. That's interesting. Yeah, the guild has a lot of interesting things on it, but it is like the content on the guild is generally either drowned out by really high profile releases that have massive budgets and make a lot of money, or a small avalanche of junk. It's anyone who's sort of middle of the road, where they make like decent quality products but don't have the marketing budget or to make them, like, you know, do numbers on the Twitter or whatever, you know, points itself. You know, you just kind of get left in the dust a little bit. You get lumped in with the people who throw something together in like a day and just slap it on the guild. But that's how it is. It'll turn itself around at some point, and I've had like a few like successes. But generally speaking, it is just, you know, just throwing things at a wall and waiting for something to stick. Oh yeah, that's it is like the guild is generally pretty good. There are even like if I look, I'm actually curious what is in the top like 10 at the moment. So top 10, Uncaged Goddesses is number 1 at the moment. I'm not super familiar with what that is. I know Uncaged is extremely popular. There is Home Field Advantage, which is like a lair actions. It's like just a big book of lair actions made by a pretty high-profile team of people. Oh, it's a big team of lots of different people. Some of whom I recognize. I recognize like 2 people on here. There's an adventure on here, and adventures generally do very poorly on the guild, but it's nice to see an adventure doing the numbers. Oh, that's because it's written by Ed Greenwood. Never mind, I take that back. Because he gets free success because he's Ed Greenwood, the guy who wrote the Forgotten Realms. Never mind, I take that back. There's the Monster Manual Expanded 3. Those guys have a whole thing going on. They currently take up spot 4, 8, and 11 with Monster Manuals 3, 1, and 2. There is Exploring Eberron, which is a Keith Baker book. Keith Baker is the guy who made Eberron, so he does the numbers. There is one person who has made a shit ton of maps for Curse of Strahd. Like 100 of them. That's awesome. No, that's cool. Tessa Moorcroft, who are you? She does maps. With very simple covers. Big respect for Tessa Moorcroft. Someone has done a bundle of stuff for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Oh yeah, like, I know like a couple of cartographers, and like people who are like, make their money making maps on the guild. And like, somebody I work with quite a lot, Kristen Zuch. I still don't know how to pronounce. Like, we joked about how difficult our names are to pronounce, but he never actually told me how to pronounce his, and I still know for a fact I'm pronouncing it wrong. I believe it's Zeucht, I think. I don't know. It's German. Is what I know, and I don't speak German. But yeah, he is a cartographer by trade, or not by trade on the guild. It's not like his actual profession. I think he works in IT. But that's one of the core things he does on the guild, and like like the amount of maps that he can churn out, like good quality, like, you know, like really nice maps he can churn out in like a day is insane. There is the Runekeeper is a class by what is his name? Indestructo Boy. His stuff is generally pretty good. There's another one of those DM bundles. There's 2 DM bundles, one for Icewind Dale and one for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. I don't know what is in those DM bundles. Presumably they're at least okay, given that they are currently taking up 2 spots in the top 10. He says, yeah, they've done one for like all of the major, like, oh, there's some maps there. Yeah, okay, right. There's like a bunch of maps. Maps, advice, troubleshooting, handouts. Oh, cool. That's interesting. I kind of like that. Wait. Hang on. Okay, no, I was just talking about Christian, and I thought I recognized his maps in this thing, but it wasn't. I was like, is that? But it wasn't. It wasn't him at all. It was someone else entirely. But either way, I'm gonna keep looking for spells to put on this wand, because 2 is too few. I need to drink some of this coffee. I could put silvery barbs on it, but I'm not going to do that. Borrowed knowledge? Nah. Ooh, blur. That's a fun one. It feels sort of vaguely sort of crystalline. Like you could flavor it as being sort of themed around crystals. Blur. 2 charges for blur. Oh, 2 charges, plural. I want to look for like a 3rd level spell. I could do blink, but that feels kind of like a cop-out. A little bit. Fly. Ooh, hypnotic pattern. That's perfect. That's like exactly like. Ooh, mirror image. That is a very Sod blur. We're doing mirror image. That is a very good idea. I can't believe I didn't think of that actually. Thank you very much. That feels like a nice number of spells for an item for like a rare item that already does like a lot of other things. It has one other ability in that it can fire a crystal bolt. As an action, while you hold the wand, you can expend one of its charges to unleash a bolt of energy towards a creature that you can see within 60 feet of you. Make a ranged spell attack against the target using your spell attack modifier. I'm not sure if that's required, but it feels like it is. Spell attack modifier. On a hit, the target suffers force damage equal to 2d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier, and it becomes imbued with crystalline energy for 1 minute. Nope, imbued. Because they're no longer imbued. There we go. It's a fairly simple magic item, but it has a lot of like very useful abilities. It's got 3 very useful like 2 of the best spells in the game built into it. Mirror Image, which is at least like a B+ tier spell, and Crystal Breath, which is I forget specifically what it does. I think it's like an AoE cone that restrains people. I believe anyway. Crystal Breath. Oh no, they make a dex save or become petrified until the end of your next turn. Right, next item is the Ward of the Steadfast. I do not know what this item is. Oh, okay, right, it's a cloak. Wondrous item, very rare. Requires attunement. Like, I genuinely, like, basically all of these magic items, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this. I do not remember this. Oh, okay. This is actually really interesting. Wow, okay, this is a really cool magic item. This... It's fabric. Oh. Yeah, it's got... Yeah, it has 6 charges, so like once you've cast Crystal Breath, you can't cast it again, and it limits your ability to like shield stuff. Or you can, you know, Hypnotic Pattern a couple times, which is also very powerful. You also have this as well, which is like strictly better than most cantrips as like a damaging option as well. I feel like potentially this could or should do more to compete with shield, and I think that's definitely something to consider. I might go like this, because then it's like a genuine like competitor with shield. It's fabric. Creating a powerful regal visage. Powerful, almost regal visage to its wearer. Right, so it has 2 abilities. First one is called Unbreakable. Whenever you take damage, you can use your reaction and expend 1... No, it should be 1 like that. Of the one's charges to gain temporary hit points to half the damage dealt. Oh, half the damage Ward the weak. Use the cloak to cast the Sanctuary spell. The effects of the Sanctuary spell. On an allied creature within 10 feet of you, these effects end early if you use this property again. I guess it would be the spell's effects ends spell's effects end early if you use this property again. So this would be oh no, it is called Ward the Weak. Yeah, that's how the repository. Oh, that's how the guild works. It would be obviously I could release it as a new product if I wanted to. I'm pretty sure that's like well within the TOS of the site. But if a product is ever updated on the guild, I don't remember specifically how it works because I myself haven't actually bought that many things on the guild. But I forget whether I don't think you get an email. I think you get a message on the site to say that a product you have has been updated or something. Basically, you can download the update for free. I don't know specifically how it works, but that is specifically something you can do. Yeah, I think the ward is. Oh, say don't feel any pressure. I'll say, but if you do, that's much appreciated. But yeah, there's no pressure whatsoever. Oh, I say once this is done, which will probably be today, the update will probably be out in like a couple weeks, just because I need to like go through the process of like rereading it through and like proofreading it and then sticking it in the layout and then putting it on the site, and then probably like promoting the re-release a little bit. But yeah, that'll probably be like 2-3 weeks. Like it'll be by the end of March at the very, very latest. Depends on how flooded with the nonsense. Yeah. So that's all cool. Right. Right, so the next item is a cursed sentient artifact. So there's a lot of text. Wondrous item artifact. Oh, I don't know why that's wrong. That should be in brackets. Oh, I accidentally deleted the T instead of. So the Watcher's Pauldron actually has like my favorite piece of art from the original book. So I've worked with a different artist now, just because like the person who used to do the art for the books, like just didn't have the time anymore. Like Like Owlet Katie, she's a streamer now as well. But this is the, like, let me grab like the art for the pauldron, because the pauldron art, oh, that's the wrong, like, there we go. Waiting for it to load. It's actually like a really big image. There we go. It's actually like a cool piece of, like, it's like very conceptually interesting. But right, Watcher's Pauldron. Formed from the eyeball of some unknown extraplanar aberration. No, I can't spell Piero apparently. There we go. So what spirit of this unknown aberration? The Watcher's Pauldron is have a spirit of this unknown aberration. Right. To sate the aberrant spirit. Oh, not the water, the Watcher's Pauldron. Here, +2 bonus to AC. Probably put this at the end, actually. need to go check abilities that I think Swashbuckler has. It is initiative rolls. Oh god. My hair is still like, I was in the shower earlier, my hair is still weirdly sort of damp in a very unpleasant way. It's not a fun time. Right. Oh no, that's not the one I want. Where is the other artifact that oh, it's Vein of... No, it's the Vein of Serranus, that's it. Pauldron has 8 charges, regaining 1d6 plus 2. Expended charges daily at dawn. Need to go look at like what's the DC I set? Oh, it's 18. That makes more sense. Now, what spells does it have? It has Arcane Eye, 4 charges, makes sense. Clairvoyance, also makes sense. 2 charges. And Scrying. Fairly simple stuff. Thing actually doesn't really give you that many benefits for being an artifact. Like, it's super not worth it. Given that it is cursed in a very unhelpful capacity. Intimidation checks made against creatures that can see you, because they have to be able to see the spooky eye on your shoulder to be able to go, I don't want to go near that. So the general justification, as it were. Because as it stands, this is all this item does. Not including the curse and all of the other nonsense. Like, well, the curse, the sentience, and all of that shit. Which is not very interesting. This coffee tastes like cereal. It genuinely tastes like cereal. Like coffee-flavored cereal. It's like the aftertaste. I don't know. Like, it's not... It's not like the worst thing in the world by any means. Like, you know... I don't hate it, but it genuinely kind of feels like, sort of slightly soggy cereal, and that's a very distressing thing to think about, but also very funny. So, pros and cons, right? What other abilities do I give this stupid pauldron? It's gotta be something, right? Like, maybe it counts as like another magic item. I do, that could well be it. I might, say it, but then again, I've never gotten that before. I don't know. So the milk's definitely not bad, because I just opened it downstairs. Yeah, I say I opened it when I was downstairs, and it was all good. I don't know. It was just a very strange sort of. It was almost a texture, but it wasn't a texture. It was just a feeling. It was very strange. Trying to think of like a magic item because generally it's like you'd be like the pauldron also counts as a thing. Like you input magic item. Like a lot of artifacts that do that, but I can't think of one. Counts as a cloak of protection +2. And I need like one other thing to make it interesting. One of the iron stones could be interesting. I forget what they all do, because I've never actually given even one of them out to players before, but... Yeah, I don't know if the stones work because they have a lot of mechanics about them just hovering around, which this thing very explicitly doesn't do. Let me look up. Let me like turn off martial weapon. Where's simple weapon? Simple weapon. Saying welcome in. Currently working on magic items. Gonna finish them all up today for the redesign of like an old book.
Weenie Wanchira.
Thank you very much for the single bit. I've like the fact that you can donate single bits is very funny to me. Going through. So I've not seen anybody do racial spells in 5e. I think like there is obviously like a reason that they generally don't do them, but they can be interesting for like a single table thing. Are you bouncing off of like 4e's racial powers? Is that sort of the main inspiration, or is it just like just something you just kind of came up with? Oh, I need to clear my throat. Oh, right. I'm scrolling through like all the magic items to see if there's anything like interesting. That's kind of amusing. Oh. Robe of Eyes. There we go. I assume this is like a first level spell, given that it has healing built in. Okay, right, I need to add the curse to this. And I need to rework how it works, because it is ridiculous. Okay. Yeah, seems pretty interesting. I need to go find some. The cursed items work in a very particular way in this game. In a very strange way at that. I think the demon armor is a good example. while wearing the pauldron, you're hit. I'm trying to think like what because the original curse doesn't actually do anything other than mean you can't doff it. I will agree that 4 and 1 are mechanically basically the same. Because healing yourself for 1d6 and giving yourself 1d6 temp are like basically the same. I mean, the average for a potion is 7 hit points, whereas this spell is, whereas this spell is a d6, which is an average of 3. And Cure Wounds, which is also first level healing spell, is an average of 4 plus your stat, which, assuming you've built your character right, is at least 3 at level 1. So it's an average of 7. At level 1. 7.5, technically. And 3.5 for this spell. I'm pointing here when the chat is up here, but yeah. If you bathe in the blood of an aberration of CR 20 or higher, of a deceased aberration of CR 20 or higher, or through the wish spell. I think the a general rule, just like as a thing, is the way healing sort of works in 5th edition is the amount of healing you give someone does not matter unless the healing you can give them is so significant that it restores all of their health or most of their health. Something to generally understand about 5th edition is casting Cure Wounds on someone who is low on health is a waste of your turn, and you should never do it. It's a lot of action economy theory, of just treating the game as raw action economy, and how things work is using your turn of, oh, my friend is on 2 hit points. They're going to go down next turn. I'm going to go over and cast 2nd level Cure Wounds or whatever. Let's say, you have 18 in whatever stat. We'll say you're a cleric and you've got, yeah, say in that respect, like as a healing spell, like it's not useful. But the healing that you can provide to a creature is only useful when they are unconscious, because you spend your turn to give them a turn. Otherwise, you spend your turn and they will probably still go unconscious, because a second level Cure Wounds with +4 is an average of 13 hit points. Unless you know for a fact that the enemies cannot do more than 12 damage, or, more than the hit points that you give them, plus their remaining hit points on their next turn, then you've wasted your turn. Because they're probably still going to go down anyway. If they are unconscious, you have gone from them not having a turn at all to them having a turn, which is infinitely valuable. And is also the reason why Healing Word is objectively better than Cure Wounds in every conceivable context. There is no situation in which Cure Wounds is better than Healing Word unless you have unless you have something that you desperately want to be doing with your bonus action that you have to do to survive in Healing Word. It's also something you need to do, or something, which I don't think is a situation that's really ever going to come up. But, give or take. I'm not, super sold on armor as hit points, just generally because CR does not conflate them in any way. There may well be some math that justifies that, but if we're talking about raw healing, the only time healing a conscious creature is worth it is with the heal spell, for instance, which is one of the few combat healing spells that's actually really good, because you just point at someone. If they're conscious, unconscious, doesn't matter. They've that unless if you cast heal on someone and they still go unconscious on their next turn, it's a TPK. The fight's already over at that point, right? If the monster has enough damage to punch through 60 hit points without some crazy bad luck on you guys', on your party's behalf, you're already dead. The DM is has made a terrible mistake or is gunning to TPK you. And that's just a fact as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it's that goes on 90 hit points. Yeah. I mean, that's the counterspell game, right? Is saving counterspells for genuinely clutch spells and not just countering everything you see. Because eventually that's gonna, you're gonna run out of counterspells, or you're gonna run out of reactions, which is much more likely. Yeah, the sort of healing meta, air quotes, is, keeping people, if you have a free way to keep someone topped up from 0, then go for it, right? Healing Spirit is kind of good for that, because someone can just stand in it and get passive healing for free. Obviously Healing Spirit can only heal 6 times, but as long as you keep 1 charge left in it to bring someone when they're down. I think the general sort of, the house rule that I think most people do, and I think is the best middle ground, is bonus action, drink potion, action, give potion to someone else. Is generally my justification. Just because, you using your entire turn to drink a potion, drinking a potion on your turn is already your trap, right? You shouldn't do it, especially if you have a limited number of potions. You shouldn't do it. You're spending precious resources on 7 hit points, that's not going to help. Like, if, obviously if you're like level 5 or something and you have like 30 hit points, or 30 to 50 hit points, maybe that will help. It probably won't, but maybe it will. And assuming you have an abundant number of potions, which at level 5 is unlikely, but some DMs are like that. They like to just, dish out magic items as is. It's the yeah, it's, I don't know. It's a whole, like, it's very odd, but that's just how it be. Right, so I think this curse is fine. Oh god, that's like hangnail on my thumb. I was trying to get it. Largely speaking, like the only edition of D&D I've run extensively is 5e. And I, whilst I know people who have a greater knowledge of the game than I do, I am at the sort of higher level of like knowing any more about this game is unnecessary kind of. Like, I am already past the point of I know more about this game than is required. I know at least 2 people that know substantially more about how the game works than I do. And they have, like I would consider myself to have a fairly encyclopedic knowledge of the way the game works. They are like, the National Museum of like game knowledge, right? I'm not sure if that analogy really works, but I think you understand my point. But I have run 4th edition, not much, and it was very, very early on. I was like a young teenager. It was my first exposure to like tabletop, like RPGs entirely, and it was like trying to wrap my head around 4th edition, which is not the worst edition to get started on. 4th edition is not simple, but it's complicated in a very sort of regimented way. There's just a lot of systems in 4e to understand, and it's very number heavy. Whereas a lot of the older systems are just esoteric, like they're just badly written because they're so good, and that's the reason why they're complicated. 3.5 is less complex by quite a lot than 5th edition and 4th edition, but it is way more complicated just because of how it's written and how it's presented, i.e. badly. Just everything is explained and over-explained massively, and the language of how they write things is not helpful. Whereas 4e and 5e are kind of like very, very, here are the rules, here is a paragraph describing them with no flourish. I mean, there might be some flavor text at the start or whatever, but you can usually discern the flavor text. But yeah. I do kind of want to go back and play 4e. Part of the reason, I think, like, 4e's, like, the combat is very, very long-winded. Like, absurdly so. It is, like, ridiculous how long 4e combat takes, but it is also very engaging. It's like very, very complex. There's a lot of like mechanical complexity to it in a cool way, rather than in a like annoyingly superfluous kind of way. Right. Sentience. I need to check another. Tell me the 5th line, does that have it? Can understand common and deep speech. Uncannily alien. It gives advantage on perception checks, which grants a +5 bonus to passive perception. If you have advantage or disadvantage on a skill, it incurs a +5 or -5 penalty to the passive. Most people don't use anything beyond passive perception, and most people don't use passive perception right, or just ignore it entirely, which is a pet peeve of mine. I've played in a few games where people just don't understand how passive perception works, which is understandable because it is actually very complicated. Like, stealth is fucking weird in this game. It's very, very complex. But even so, it is very frustrating. But yeah, like, for example, if you have the Eyes of the Eagle, for instance, they give you advantage on wisdom perception checks made for sight. So you in turn have a +5 passive perception. And because in dim light, you have disadvantage on wisdom perception checks, you have a -5 to your passive perception. So all of those monsters that failed to sneak up to the characters in that dark cave because they all had dark vision, like, they probably would have succeeded, because it doesn't matter if Jerry the elf has 22 passive. His passive is actually like 18 in the cave. I mean, they probably still failed against an 18 passive, but even so, like, it supports my funny joke about an elf called Jerry, I guess. I've been spelling Watcher's Pauldron, like, not as a capital, which I kind of want to change. There we go. I did exactly that. Oh shit. No, I fucked it up. There we go. Oh, I put the tome. It should be the pauldron. Destroying the pauldron. Oh, got my back. No. I mean, they can, but they have to do one of these two things. They have to bathe in the blood of a deceased aberration of CR 20 or higher, or they have to wish it off. Oh yeah, I was also replicating a remove curse spell or similar magic, or a wish spell used to replicate a remove curse spell or similar magic. It is also an artifact, so let me. I'm actually curious, like, what monsters that actually means that. What monsters that actually like encompasses? CR20 aberration. Let's go to vanilla sources only. Oh. Wait. Astral Dreadnought's not CR. Yeah, they are. What? It's weird. Do I have some other, like, limitation on? There we go, right. So your options are killing. Why is it doing that? That's very strange. It shouldn't be. It's not showing like a number of. Oh no, I'm looking for a list of them, and the list is not working very well at the moment. Which is annoying, but hang on, let me try again. I'm looking at a list of all the monsters and I'm trying to sort to... Yeah, that's very strange. Is the Astral Dreadnought not an aberration then? No, it's a monstrosity. So actually, yeah, there's like two options. So actually, I need to lower the bar. Like, I actually, like, really need to lower the bar. Like, significantly. Just because there aren't actually that many. There's, like, two aberrations that... There's one aberration in the game that, like, meets... I was thinking of Astral Dreadnoughts as aberrations, but they're not. They're monstrosities. I'll say, yeah, welcome in. Currently working on some magic items at the moment. What, aberration, like, that's actually really irritating that it doesn't go down to, like, what's CR14? There we go. That opens up a lot more options, he says. Yeah, that opens up like Elder Brains and shit. So let's go. I'll have to go CR 13 and up. That is a very hilarious oversight, because when I actually made this item, there weren't any aberrations in the game that you could actually use, that you could actually kill to get the benefits. It has to be CR 13 or higher, which is annoying because it's like it feels clean to say CR 20, but they just aren't. There's the Starspawn Emissary, and that is it. That's it. These are, I'm updating old magic items at the moment, so I am all I'm just looking through a nice yeah, Ozzy, I'm looking through just like an index of all of the monsters in the vanilla books. So, and yeah, the list is a lot more limited than I thought it was, which is a major design oversight and also kind of hilarious. Yeah, there is the only CR 20 and higher aberrations in the entire game are the Elder Brain Dragon, which is from Fizzbarns, and the Greater Starspawn Emissary, which is from Van Richten's, both of which are books that came out last year. The book that all of these magic items are from came out 2 years ago. Over 2 years ago, in fact. I think nearly 2.5. But it is very... that is kind of hilarious, and I love that. Waxing / waning weapon. The next item sucks. I'm actually going to cut it and just split the waxing and the waning weapon into two separate things. Shit, I can't. I mean, no, I can still just keep them here. Waxing / waning weapon. Wondrous item. I could actually just make a new magic item to replace it. Yeah, I'll just make a new magic item to replace it. Ah, yes. Bard puns. Very nice, very nice. Oh, I listed them as uncommon, or rare when actually uncommon. Could also make it, like, varies, like that. Yeah, I don't like these being combined as one item because they distinctly do different things. Yeah, I'm gonna go through and waning weapon will go up here. Oh shit. While you're mostly because they just want to be attached. I want them to be attached to any weapon. But you could totally make a weapon that's like a waxing weapon and a waning weapon as well, which is something I would 100% do and fully support. If you want to make like a rare item that is a waxing and it's like a waxing and waning longsword or whatever, then that sounds pretty sick. While you're I forget specifically how this works. I need to go look at like the swarms. Swarm of bats. While you have fewer than half your hit points, and then the waxing weapon is a little different. It's not a direct, it's not like exactly the same. Well, you have half your hit points or more. To attack rolls. See, I did cut a magic item, or I am cutting a magic item just because it's not very interesting. But yeah, it's actually something I should do in a game at some point, is give someone a waxing and waning weapon. I should definitely do that. Yeah, I'll put that on the list of, well, not on the list, but like I'm gonna give that to a player at some point because that sounds fun. How many more? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more magic items. I have said I'm just going to keep going until I'm done. And if that takes me until 6 o'clock, then so be it. But I don't think it's going to take that long. But if it does, then so be it. Wicker Blade. Weapon. Short sword. Legendary. Requires attunement. This blade is made from wax. It appears to hold no edge. 20. Oh, there's 2 ends of millennia. There we go. Spelling hard or something. I don't know. Need to go look at the Sunblade. How does the Sunblade, like, say that it does radiant damage instead of piercing damage or slashing damage? Oh, oh wow. It's actually very simple. I expected it to be needlessly overworded, but it is not. +2 expended charges daily at dawn. Regaining 1d4 +2 expended charges daily at dawn. I need to go find Wand of Shards. Here we go. The Wicked Blade is actually like fairly simple in its effect, and I'm actually like, I was like, it's kind of whatever, but actually reading it again, it's good fun. Why'd the DM just allow you to take the defense fighting style? That seems very ill-advised if it's a tournament. Like, why would they do that? Yeah, that'll do it. Speaking of experience of being able to abuse inflict wounds doing a lot of damage as a death cleric, it's and also having a familiar, courtesy of ritual caster. It's good shit, especially when your familiar has better speed than you, or get better in it, or when your initiative, when your familiar rolls better initiative than you. Familiar goes in, Clockwork Amulet, auto hit, inflict wounds at max level, at like 5th level. Use Touch of Death every time, like 60 points of damage just in its face, which is good fun. Doesn't Defensive Duelist require you to have Dex? Yes, you need... Oh, you need Dex, but it uses your proficiency. Need to get really light. additional 20 feet. I say D&D PvP is very much a who wins initiative kind of nonsense game. And certain classes are incapable of winning. And certain other classes win on the spot. A lot of them just come down to who rolls good initiative. Yeah, say Barbarian versus Barbarian is just a game of luck. That seems, that seems very dumb. That's the kind of thing where like a PvP tournament like fundamentally just doesn't work. Yep, he lost initiative to the monk. Hell, he didn't even need to lose initiative to the monk. He just needed to get stunned forever. And then there's like the one person who turns up to the tournament who's like actually like very knowledgeable on how the game works and just plays a wizard and just like, what level do you start at? Is this the level where wizard has the tools to instantly win the game? Level 6. Probably not then. I'm trying to think. Well, I guess you play an Aarakocra like wizard or something, like an abjuration wizard or probably a divination. Abjuration wizard, like Aarakocra abjuration wizard or some nonsense, or Aarakocra ranger. It's probably all kinds of silly, ridiculous shit you can do that just makes you win on the spot. Definitely involves Aarakocra being able to just fly and make it so that people who pick Barbarian can't win. Because a Barbarian is just about the matchup. You either win on the spot or you lose on the spot. Barbarian versus Monk, lose on the spot. Barbarian versus Wizard, probably lose on the spot. Like a competent Wizard player, not someone who's just like, oh, I spam Scorching Ray in your face. Like, Scorching Ray is cool, but it's not that useful in that context. Like, unless they're going like full Nuka Sorcerer or something, then yeah. I'm trying to think, yeah. Oh, there's there is Blink. Good old Blink. Yeah, say Wild Magic Sorcerer is kind of like a non-subclass, basically. You don't actually get any benefits for being one, whereas Divine Soul actually gives you like a bunch of powerful stuff. And even then, it's probably a bad choice. It's like D&D PvP is like just does not work on like a fundamental level. It can be fun if you can ignore the fact that it fundamentally doesn't work. But generally speaking, it is not fun. Obviously, it was a tournament that all of you presumably signed up to play, so it probably wasn't that bad. But I imagine there was probably a lot of people there who did not have fun because they didn't realize that D&D is not a PvP game. And it generally shouldn't be played PvP, like, at all. Yeah, I say if you're using it as like a social experience, then it serves its purpose, right? But yeah, as someone who has experienced like the forced PvP, it is the worst. And yeah, it's a general rule for everybody else. Like, if you want to run like a D&D PvP tournament or whatever, and everybody is cool with it, then go for it. Like, do whatever you want. Like, my personal opinion on the matter is irrelevant. You can do whatever the fuck you think is going to be fun. And if it is fun, then good for you. But do not force that shit on your players. Like, just don't. Just don't fucking do it. Do not drop it on them. Unless, if the players specifically want to, like, have a friendly PvP with each other, then by all means, let them do it. Let them not have any fun, that's fine. But do not drop your players in a mandatory PvP session, because they will hate it. Someone at the table will have no fun, and it will be your fault. I mean, even with planning, like, there are some characters that just can't win PvP. Like, a lot of people brought Barbarian to that tournament, when Barbarian is probably the worst possible option. I say I don't have to apply those kinds of rules. I've never really had that kind of problem at my table of people actually trying to fight each other. Because the in my eyes at least, the idea that someone would even want to do that in the first place is a problem in and of itself. Like, is like, a rule like that shouldn't have to exist. There shouldn't be a rule that says that people don't do that. It should, people don't make characters that are going to cause that. But again, that's like, everybody has a rule because of one idiot, right? I mean, obviously there are some, like, general rules, but like, that everybody abides by, but they're usually unspoken social contracts. But there's plenty of rules that exist because of that one guy. I can't think of any that I have particularly, because it tends to be that one guy does not last very long in the group, and they get to the boot very quickly. But yeah. My D&D horror stories are by no means extensive, and I don't have an enormous amount of them. But that's the point. You don't want to have a lot of them. You want to just remove the people who caused them from your game, and usually your life. Let me look at Elemental Adept. Right, next one is, what is Meld Strike? I don't remember what this does. I'm cutting it, it's dumb. Actually, okay, maybe not. When you make... No, this is a dumb ability. I think it's just weirdly worded and strange. I'm just gonna cut it. Sculpt shape. Okay, simple enough. I can't one of the abilities from this item, but I feel that's probably for the best because it's just weirdly worded and pointlessly complicated. The Witch's Eye. Wondrous item, rare. This eye, plucked from the skull of a powerful witch, serves as the final vestige of her consciousness. Should be this crystal. Oh, from. I put form instead of from. On your person, you gain what is this? Let's go. I would definitely cut the extra attack because that is insane. Yeah, so adding extra attacks on a magic item, I would say, is definitely a no-no. But the rest of the item is generally pretty interesting. I think if you keep the advantage and disadvantage, or if you keep the advantage, you can also keep the recharge when you kill something. I would also codify it specifically as when you kill something with the sword, because bathed in the blood is not very specific, and it needs to be very specific. Because bathed in the blood could mean literally you dip it into like a pool of blood, or you just kill something with it. And if it's the former, that seems kind of weird. If it's the latter, that's pretty simple and makes sense. 3 charges. When you make an attack with it, spend a charge, gain advantage. But yeah, I'd say that generally bonus attacks on a magic item, or in any capacity really, is like, it's also a great sword, so like, it's you're not adding 2d6 plus 5 damage. If you've got someone who's actually building into a greatsword. Bearing in mind that this has built-in advantage. You've got a great weapon master god now. Like, your 5th level fighter is now an 11th level fighter. With, a 5th level fighter wouldn't use Great Weapon Master. Say your 11th level fighter now has the power of a 20th level fighter, because they make 4 attacks. That's 2d4, 7 plus 5, 12, it's 22 damage a hit, average. And the fighter has 3 of those. Now 4. But instead, you can let them keep their 3 attacks and actually make Great Weapon Master more consistent, which is much more balanced and also much more fun as well. So that is the Witch's Eye done. The next one is the Wraith Stone. Now the Wraith Stone, looking back on it, is a very poorly designed magic item, so I'm going to fix it. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a fire is just an example. Giving any character extra attacks is definitely, like, that's an insane boost in power. Use of the Soul of a Wraith allows for a powerful convergence. The Spectre looks like you. Summon a Spectre. Of yourself. It should be yourself. Against temporary hit points equal to twice your level. To its attack and damage rolls. Let me look at a Spectre real quick. Let me go look at. it simpler down there. Okay, right. How many more magics I got? 1, 2, 3, 4 more to go. I am this close to finishing. So close. Okay, the Wraith Stone is in a better spot now. It's much better, much more interesting. Next is the Cyphoid Crystal. Right. Use a bonus action to change it. Check spiritual weapon. Oh, okay, right. So thank you very much. So welcome in. I'm finishing up working on some old reworking some old magic items. I'm almost done. I've like 3 more to do after this. No, that doesn't. transforms into a weapon of your choosing. I try to keep them simple now. I think that's the main thing I've discovered from designing so many magic items for like this old book and this more recent book over on the left. Is the complexity means that there's a bunch of abilities that your players are never going to use. Because it takes a very specific kind of player to think about magic items. Or just any abilities at all. In any like critical thinking capacity, because players just don't like they just don't. So I go out of my way to make them, nowadays at least, to make them fairly simple, to make them have like one or two distinct functions, that neither of which are like overly complicated. When it first transforms, make a melee spell attack against creatures within 5 feet of the crystal. There's one thing that players definitely are, and it is predictable. Once you get to know your players, you will find that you will always be able to know what they're going to do. What would the bonus be? Be like 4, it'd be like, let's say 7 plus 7 to hit. Oh, hang on, maybe it can be a dancing sword. Or dancing swords particular. Oh, dancing swords are very rare shit. So thank you very much for that. On a hit, the target takes... On your bonus action to transform the weapon, and as a bonus action on subsequent turns, yeah, so D20s for stats is definitely a gimmick, especially if you especially because you roll your class. You have to roll your class as well, and like, oh look at me, I'm a wizard, but I have high strength and no intelligence. Like I guess you could be like a blade singer and just take utility spells. Like there's a way to make that work, but I guess the one thing that doesn't work outright is being a fighter with no dex, no strength, no con. There's no way to make that good or work or function in any capacity. Um. Okay. I say, yeah. Muscle Wizard is legit. Right, that'll do. Erythine, Quarterbane. No, Quarterbane. Weapon, dagger, legendary, requires attunement by a spellcaster. Yeah, it sounds kind of amusing. Yeah, so the at least you have a fairly like different sort of assortment of characters there. You have two life. Okay, yeah, the two life clerics played the exact same because they're a life cleric. Twilight cleric decided to be broken. War cleric decided to be sad, and Forge cleric was a tank, or just had really high AC. God, poor War Cleric. War Cleric is so bad. There's someone I know who is I was saying earlier on like about encyclopedic knowledge of the game and how they have like a museum level knowledge of the game, right? They have like a Wikipedia level knowledge or whatever, like an obscene level of game knowledge, game mastery, if you will. And he specifically went out of his way to make War Domain good, and he couldn't do it. And if there was any person I have ever met who could make War Domain usable and like not complete shit, then like they would be usable, but they aren't. He couldn't do it. He's the only person I think I've ever met that could do it, and he couldn't. I know that extra attack wouldn't save War Domain. It's just too bad. Like, the War Priest ability is very cool, but it's immediately complete fucking trash once you get past, like, 5th. It's really good at, like, level 1, but it gets worse and worse and worse to the point where, like, level 5... It's the War Priest ability is great until you hit level 5, and then it's like, oh, I just have a strictly worse and like it's like a strictly worse extra attack that is limited in its use. It's like, oh, okay, why even live at this point, right? And like the plus 10 to hit, they have two different channel divinities that do the same thing. Like, just make them the same one and make them, let it so you can target other people from the get-go. Like War Domain is like, there's like no redeeming qualities to War Domain. It is complete garbage. And then on the flip side, you've got Twilight and Peace Domain, which are like fundamentally broken. Peace Domain is just like not very well designed. And Twilight Domain is just like a, did you not playtest this? How did you think this was okay? Why did you do this? I mean, again, it would you said the word war cleric, and therefore it's immediately terrible, but I understand your sentiment of that would be cool. See, I feel like that's a pretty bad design philosophy to have of, oh, we made this subclass hilariously terrible, so let's make 2 hilariously broken ones. Yeah, Twilight and Peace were a mistake. They're both conceptually interesting, but Twilight is Twilight is Peace is mechanically very interesting, and I do not mind it at all. I think it's kind of cool, but Twilight is just like, basically every ability that Twilight has is like a, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why would you? Why? Twilight Cleric is why, basically. That's just, ugh, it's the worst. Oh. No. And again, like, Cleric as, like, party healer is, you know, whatever. Like, there's plenty of classes that get healing word. But Cleric makes a fairly effective, like, nuker and buffer, if you know how to play it right. Cleric is, like, a DPS caster if you pick the right domains. Like Tempest Domain is bonkers if you know what you're doing with it. It's amazing. I've seen people do numbers with Tempest Domain, because it's explicitly what it's for. Like, if I go through all of, like, the Cleric subclasses real quick. Arcana, I have, like, no opinions on, because I've never seen a human being play it or think about it. Death. Death is surprisingly very interesting. It's not very good, but it's interesting. Forge is weirdly kind of boring, but also, like, pretty okay. Grave is kind of silly, but it is also quite good fun. Knowledge is kind of whatever. Life is surprisingly kind of bad. It's not terrible, but I mean, whether a spell can be countered or not is kind of irrelevant, I would argue. It's more that it's modular and costs them nothing. It costs them a bonus action and nothing more. Light is okay. Nature is kind of like, oh, why aren't you a druid? Order is fantastic. Order is, like, legit, I think, the coolest cleric subclass, because it's really powerful in a mechanically very unique way, but it's not super broken. I mean, an Order Domain cleric and a rogue is basically if the cleric has to spend 1 resource every turn to give the rogue 2 turns every turn. I suppose at the cost of the rogue's reaction as well, so they do lose their uncanny dodge, but whatever, right? Peace is interesting, but is broken. Tempest is cool. Trickery is cool, but very bad. Like, very, very bad. Twilight was a mistake, and War is worse than Trickery, somehow. Trickery has the upside of having greater invisibility, which is actually really good. And basically nothing else. Like, everything else Trickery gets is terrible. But War doesn't get anything good. Like, its capstone is okay, but if you're picking a subclass for its capstone, then you're picking it for all the wrong reasons. Yeah, the creative application of the channel divinity can be interesting, but the actual, like, power level of Forge is like, okay, and everything else it does mechanically is like, oh, I have a good AC? Okay. But I don't hate it by any means. I just don't think it's all that interesting. But yeah, Cleric is like definitely suffers from a lot of homogeneity in like class design, just because the features of the subclass are so spread out. And a lot of the subclasses are kind of just, you could literally get rid of this and no one would notice or care. Because they were like, oh yeah, we need like 8 subclasses for Cleric, and then they phoned in like almost all of them. Forge Cleric gets martial weapons. Correction, they don't. Never mind, I thought they did. I mean, yeah, I mean, if you're making weapon attacks as a cleric, then that's your problem. Like, not getting martial weapons has nothing to do with that. If you're choosing to make weapon attacks as a cleric and you're, you know, above like level 3, that's your mistake. Because you get like all of the, like, Divine Strike is a trap and you shouldn't use it. Pick Blessed Strikes instead. Is my piece of wisdom for you for the day. Don't, like, Divine Strike is a trap. Do not use it. Don't try to use it. Like, there are very rare instances where it can be used, but 9 times out of 10, it's not fucking worth it. Just cast a cantrip. And take Blessed Strike so your cantrip gets the benefits of Divine Smite. It's just objectively better in every conceivable capacity. But, yeah. I need an item. I think Queen's Scar does what I want. Yes. Me personally, delve into, like, sort of on stream or just in general? Okay, I'll get into that in a sec, but Hearth just as a fun thing. It's a build that I don't like, but go take a look at Pact of the Chain and Gift of the Ever-Living Ones. And welcome to being a true blue tank in 5th edition. Because there's not really any other ways to tank in this game beyond Gift of the Ever-Living One's Celestial Warlock. I would go take a look at it, it's quite funny. I don't like it because it's dumb and you have to take like a very noodly, stupid ability to get it. But it's very funny. I have designed a lot of classes for my home game. This kind of shit, like, this is like the lower end of like homebrew stuff. Making magic items is something anybody can do. you can usually make unless you're with a little bit of self-restraint, you can make something that's probably super reasonable, and anybody can do it, right? The second you move on to like class options and character options, like subclasses, races, spells, like full classes, that requires like a higher level of like game understanding that most people don't have. I have designed a class on stream before. Oh yeah, like testing is something that I try to do organically. I very rarely will do like a dedicated like playtesting session for like larger things. I tend to test things organically and let my players actually want to play it. So like the stuff that I put out is generally things that people have used, and I've gone, okay, right, this needs to change. Magic items are different because it's usually like you can eyeball that shit pretty easily, and spells are somewhere in the middle where it's like, but I have redesigned Monk and Paladin on stream, and I did the whole thing. I redesigned the classes, I redesigned all the subclasses, I did all of that. Those are all old VODs. And the last thing I did was I designed a new class. I've designed a lot in my own time as well. I have like a bunch of personal like home classes I use in my home game. I have like the Inquisitor, I have a Shaman, I have trying to think what the other ones even are. Christ. So everybody tries to do Shaman. Everybody has a different take on Shaman. There's all kinds of Shamans you can find online. I haven't released mine publicly. I want to at some point, but I haven't done it yet. Just because finding the time to do it, like making classes doesn't, like just releasing classes generally doesn't do well on the guild, so I just generally don't release them. If you can do big compendiums of character options, tend to do well. But yeah, the last thing I did on stream, I don't think it was literally the last thing I did, but one of the other, something I did last year was I designed the Mystic. I designed mine, because again, everybody and their mother has a take on the Mystic, and mine is strange, and I don't know if there's anything like it out there. I'm sure, by just lore of it's a popular thing that people do, I'm sure something like it does exist. But it is a class that does not have subclasses, and instead it has like 20 skill trees that you can build into, and you get they're called talent points, and you can gain like psionic powers. So it is and I haven't released it anywhere yet. Again, that is on my list of things to do, but it needs testing first, really. Like, it really needs testing before it goes anywhere. And that was like the last thing I did, and that was like I designed that from top to bottom. It took me like 3 months. It was great fun. It was wonderful. It was super cool. I say welcome in, Finn. It is weird, yeah. Mystic is strange. It does all kinds of crazy shit, and it is a power gamer's dream, no doubt. I tried to limit it in all the ways that I could, but yeah. So thanks for stopping by. I will most likely be finished before you get back. But if you're about on a Monday evening, 5 p.m. GMT, I stream something homebrew related. Then this goes for everybody who's new as well. I do that every week on a Monday. This is a one-off as I'm finishing this. I realize I probably should do more of these, but it's like eventually I'm going to run out of ideas, so I want to try and ration them out. As of now, I still don't know what I'm going to do on next Monday. Like, I haven't made that decision yet. I don't know. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I have the benefit of just being able to, like, say GMT, and everybody knows what that means, because in Greenwich Mean Time, how far away from Greenwich do I even live? Greenwich is like, is Greenwich West London or East London? I don't actually remember. I'm like like 70 miles from London, give or take. It's not far. Basically, it's not far. Yeah, say as I like of all the streams. Obviously, I will take a day off if I'm like not feeling it or whatever. But these streams I usually am like, I'm always up for it, Ooh, okay, right. I'm looking at this fucking dagger, and man, these abilities are bonkers. Okay, I like this. Ritualist. Oh, so yeah, thank you very much for picking it up. That is much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, see ya. Right. So, Ritualist. Additionally, whenever you cast a spell that requires material components with a gold... Hey, let me check how this works. Or how this is worded, how gold piece cost is worded in most spells. They're free. There's very few spells that this is like explicitly worth it for, but I'm sure there's plenty of ways you could break this item by just like, oh, I cast this spell as a ritual, and because I can do that, it's crazy powerful or something. I can't actually think of like specifically what that spell would be, but I just need to go and look at like exactly how the ritual tag works. Casting spells as a ritual functions. Rules, quick reference. Casting a spell. Casting a spell. Here we go. Where are the rules for that? Well, specifically, I'm looking for ritual, which will be in the casting a spell section. Combining magic. That's not helpful. Look at wizard. See if like I'm just looking for spells that have the what costs have. Ritual casting 5e. There we go. I'm just looking for like the written text of how exactly it is worded. Yeah, I found it on D&D Beyond, I think. This is not an endorsement of D&D Beyond. Don't use it. That's a very serious reverse endorsement. It's a crock of shit. Don't use it. I'm only on here because I need the wording for how ritual casting works. That spells for ritual tags. That spells for so ritual spells 10. There we go. And I also need to look at material components. Whenever you cast a spell that requires material components with a cost, the required cost to cast that spell is halved. Then quarters of time. As a bonus action, to cut the quarter. So as a compendium, it's fine. Like, if you have chosen to buy the books on D&D Beyond and you want to use them as a quick reference, that's okay. Like if that's fine. You using it like that, no problems. Using it as a character sheet. There's also the predatory business practice of making you buy the books twice. There is a reason for that. D&D Beyond is owned by Curse, has nothing to do with Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast. Like, that is the reason you have to buy them twice. I imagine you may know that, but lots of people don't, and they complain about it, and they have a right to complain about it. There's also a reason as to why, they can't just not give WotC any money. They can't just not make money on something. Like, WotC gets kickback from people buying the books from D&D Beyond, but they're not just going to give people a free service that they don't own. That's, capitalism, whatever. But the problem with D&D Beyond comes from character sheets. So D&D Beyond character sheets are kind of like there's no way to say it without sounding super passive aggressive, but they are the training wheels of the training wheels of Animate Dead. That is a very good idea, actually. That is reason enough for me to take that ability away, because fuck Animate Dead. Thank you very much. They almost gave Warlock Animate Dead, and it would have broken the game, but they didn't. Keeping everything in one place is good. I don't know anything about World Anvil's character sheet feature. If it doesn't work in the way that D&D Beyond does, then I like it, and if it does work like D&D Beyond, then I don't like it on principle. The main reason for this being that character sheets that auto-fill themselves without being mean or degrading are training wheels. And they're the worst kind of training wheels, because they're training wheels that you can't take off. When you put training wheels on a bike, you have the understanding that you have to learn to ride a bike without them. It's not a super perfect analogy, but it's, you put the training wheels on to get you used to riding the bike, and then you take them off, and then you learn to ride the bike without them. D&D Beyond and similar services that auto-fill your character sheets, well, that's good. I like that. That's a good thing. Digital character sheets, totally fine, 100%. Do whatever you need to do. Or whatever you want to do, frankly. I like digital character sheets. I don't use them too much, but I like no, actually no, that's a lie. I've used the PDFs before. They're pretty good. But the training wheels that never come off, they're worse than that. Again, there's no way to make this analogy really make sense. So it's, apologies if it doesn't make any sense. But imagine you have your training wheels on your bike, but actually what's happening is you close your eyes and then someone else is just holding the bike steady for you and just guiding you around as you close your eyes and pedal. That's what D&D Beyond is. You're not actually learning to play the game. You're pressing buttons and it fills out a bunch of shit for you. And 90% of the way people learn shit is by doing the thing. Building your character is the best way to learn how to play the game, and D&D Beyond bypasses all of it. There is a button that you can press that just says auto-generate me a character, please, and not everybody does that. But the same problem applies to a marginally lesser extent to people who just go through as I want to be a human, press the human button. Oh, I guess I'll put the numbers here and here, ? Whatever. It leads players to become passive problem players that never learn how to play the game. That is, I don't have a peer-reviewed study to back that up. A lot of sort of conjecture and sort of my own experience of the people who use D&D Beyond at a table are almost exclusively much less knowledgeable, regardless of their play experience, than people who don't. Because the people who don't are actually learning how to play the game, and the people who do aren't. This isn't universal, like, obviously, that's not how that works. And I don't think anybody who uses D&D Beyond is an idiot like that. It just is not true. Thank you very much for the follow. Like, people who use D&D Beyond aren't stupid, they're not being misled, they're not, whatever. But in my experience, people who use D&D Beyond end up being problem players, certainly at tables like mine, where I like to run the game fairly by the book, or at least by, even if I change rules, I stick to the rules that I change. I can't really say by the book, because I've changed a lot, but the rules I have changed, I stick to those changes as well. And the things that I haven't changed, I stick to those very firmly too. It creates a lot of problems for me as a DM, to a point where I just have, like, autofill character sheets are just banned. Like, just outright just banned at my table, because they create those problems of people who just don't know how to play their characters. In my view, at least. That's a very long-winded explanation for something that's fairly simple, but, but yeah, the World Anvil thing, if it's just fucking text boxes and you fill out and fucking go for it. I've met both the people who make World Anvil, they're both very, very nice people. I'm not super big fan of World Anvil's visual interface, it messes with me. Like, I think it's an awesome service though. Like, I will happily endorse them because I've met both of the people that make it and they're both really nice. They're both like London-based like devs, and I know a lot of London-based like RPG devs, and I've met both of them before. Dimitri and is her name Janet? I'm pretty sure it's Janet. I forget what her name is. I'm gonna go look it up because it's annoying me because I've met her and she was really nice. World Anvil Janet? It begins with a J. I swear it does. No, her name is Janet. Yes, there we go. I am good with names, I promise. But yeah, I say it was a very long-winded explanation, but I feel very passionately about it, as I'm sure you can tell. Right, I need to finish up these last 3 magic items, because I swear to God, I want to eat food. I'm hungry. It's like 6 p.m. I've been going for like 3 hours. I'm having a good time, don't get me wrong. This has been great fun. But, yeah, because it's never intentional. They're not intending to be the person who refuses to learn how to play the game, because they're not refusing to, they just can't. Like, they physically can't, because they have a piece of technology that is preventing them from learning. But taking it away feels like you're just, forcing them. It almost feels gatekeepery to say, no, you can't use this. Because there are people who actually need to use autofill character sheets for whatever reason. And if that's the case, then that's fine. But and most people don't know that it is a problem. I say that like it's a sure fact. There is a not insignificant chance that I'm just wrong, like just actively, objectively incorrect. But to my experience, I am. So, and I don't know if I'll ever. I mean, maybe. If I'm wrong, I want to be proven wrong. But either way, I'm gonna stop talking about it and start writing. I'm this fucking close to finishing, and I'm hungry. Oh shit. Roll a number of d4s equal to your level and reduce your current hit points by an amount equal to the result. Then my hair is all over the place. Good God. Oh God, it's tangled. I haven't brushed it properly. Good God. Jesus fucking Christ. Ugh. Oh. My hair is like, I got out of the shower and it doesn't matter how much, like, it's basically a crapshoot as to whether I get out of the shower and my hair is like, oh, my hair is all nice and smooth, or it's like fucking straw. It's horrible. So yeah, this ability is super insane. Like, quarters of time, it's crazy. You take a not insignificant amount of damage. I mean, just so, like, if you get this at, like, it's so that it is balanced to your level. Like, obviously this kind of effect is crazy powerful anyway, but if you for whatever reason are given this at, like, level 2, you don't just instantly kill yourself by using it. And then when you're, you know, like, level 20, it's not no cost at all. And it is also once per day. That's a very important facet that I haven't written down yet. Oh shit, cannot do so again until the next dawn. So yeah, that's the sort of my but you can give anybody an extra turn. Let me look at the damage for this real quick. It's like 2.5. It's 2.5 times your level. So at 20, it's an average of like 50 damage, which for an extra turn, it's fucking worth it. It's just actively worth it. At level 10, it's like 25 damage. Yep, there's 100% like the justification. I have a spell in my home game called Time Walk. Where it's an action cast, and after your turn you immediately take another turn, upon which you get 2 actions on that turn. And from experience, Time Walk is very good. Time Walk is very, very good. And this is just this is a better Time Walk with a damage cost. So yeah, it's nuts, but it's a legendary item. You can kind of, certainly my justification, at least, is magic items, you can push them a fair amount, because a DM has total control over what they give their players, like what magic items they give their players. So you can make something really, really powerful, and a DM can go, I'm fine with giving this to my players, or they can go, no, I don't want to give this to my players. Or, alternatively, they can just take this ability off entirely and just say, I'm going to give them this. I think this is how we balance this, is letting you ritual cast. That's probably a more interesting way of doing it. Right. 2 more items. So close. I'm hungry. Like, I wouldn't be desperate to sort of finish up now, because I'm actually having a really good time. But I'm also, it is like 6 PM and I'm very hungry. Wondrous item. Very rare. Requires attunement. This ornate mask appears to be made solely of the bones of some unknown creature. Its original owner, Zanza, created it at his own peril. For his creation was what destroyed him. There we go, I misspelled it. Yeah. That would be... yes, you could. That would be very funny. You would have to... You would get 2 extra turns, and during which you would have 3 actions across them, which sounds hilarious, frankly, and is undoubtedly overwhelmingly broken, and that's why I like it. The obvious, sort of play with this, right, speaking from my experience with high-level play at my table, is quarters of time, or time walk, quarters of time. I think it's quarters of time, then time walk, I think. Oh, quarters of time is at the end of the creature's next turn. So... yeah, actually, you wouldn't immediately take... That's it. At the end of the current turn, creature immediately takes 1 extra turn. So there we go. Now works on yourself, and is now also even better on yourself, because it's worse on other people now. But, so you would quarters of time, then time walk. At the end of your turn, you can choose to order the triggers as you want, because it is, you are the active creature. It is your turn, so you get to order triggers however you want. Or the triggers are on you, I think is so you get to order it however you want. And then you would take your quarters of time turn immediately. You would do something with your bonus action, whatever that is, and then you would shape change into the most powerful creature that you can, probably like a planetar or an ancient dragon. And then on your next turn, you would fly at a guy and make 2 multi-attacks, and probably instantly kill them. Which, in my experience, is how Time Walk is used, so the Quarterbane would just enhance that exact playstyle. I have one person in my group. I say, Finn, are you still here? Like, I ain't giving this to you, Finn, if you're here. Because I don't need more Solar turns. That, like Solar already does, 60 damage a turn. I don't need 120 damage out of that. Correction, 50 damage an attack? I think it's 100 damage a turn, or something stupid like that. It's ridiculous. Me just casually adding Dispel Magic to every single boss monster now, because... yeah. I mean, that is, I did let you guys go past level 20 and give you guys special level, legendary level abilities, which is the reason you can turn into a Solar in the first place. But also, still what the fuck, right? Even ignoring the Solar's instant kill longbow, DC 15 saving throw against instant death longbow. Fucking murdered one of my players with one of those recently. It was fucking hilarious. It was literally instantly got rezzed because, high level D&D, but it was still very funny. Constitution saving throw or become petrified for 1 minute. The final item. Zephyr. It's the last one. It's been like 12 weeks. I still have some other shit to edit in this book, but it's like minor stuff. Okay. Weapon, scimitar, legendary, requires attunement. My hands hurt. I still have editing to do today. Something to do in my own time. Ice cream I've made. Oh, okay. It is. It's the Orb of Many Energies. It's in here. Hang on, let me go find it. So the Orb of Many Energies is an orb that is one of 6 colors, and it has a different effect based on what its color is, and every time you use it, it changes color. So red, Scorching Ray; orange, you do acid stuff; yellow is lightning stuff; green is poison stuff; blue is cold stuff; and indigo is wild magic. I just like the Orb of Many Energies. I've not given it to players in a very long time, but I want to at some point. It's very fun. And damage rolls made with this magical scimitar. Additionally, while you hold additionally need to go look at one of these things again. Whenever you score a critical hit with Zephyr, you can expend 2 of its charges to immediately take. Anyway. I'm actually going to cut one of the abilities because it's just kind of unnecessary. Yeah, I'm actually going to cut both of these abilities, frankly. Actually, yeah, I'll bring this ability back. Oh shit. Almost there. So close. Maybe go look at Jinn's stats actually, because it's going to have the intelligence of a Jinn. That makes a lot of sense. 15, 16, 20. I need to go look at which one was it where oh, it's the Watcher's Pauldron, that's it. Let's go change this. So what's slow whispering? Presumably Jinns understand. Yeah, they technically only speak Auran, which is weird. We're done. We are done. It took 3 hours, but it was good fun. There's some good conversations were had. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 magic items, a lot of which were a lot of words, but it is done now. And I can go eat dinner and then be sad because I still have a bunch of editing to do today. Because I haven't done any today, and I didn't do any yesterday either, so I still have work. But I get to go eat food. Either way, thank you very much for people who have stopped in today and people who are still here. Again, I do this generally every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Going forwards, I'll actually be able to go for a lot longer, basically as long as I want. My Monday game has moved. It is no longer on a Monday, which means, well, I can go for much longer, which if the need arises. I won't always go for 3 hours, but if I need to and I want to, or I want to, I can, and I probably will. Beyond that, I'm gonna carry on with Skyward Sword on Friday. I had to take a break this Friday just because I was fucking exhausted last week, just from I don't even know what, frankly. And on Sunday I'm gonna start Pokemon Sword because I want to do that. But yeah, I hope folks have enjoyed themselves. I'm going to see if there's anyone to raid. I don't think there is. There is not. That's fine. I'm going to head off here. Hope folks have enjoyed themselves. I will hopefully see some of you going forward. See ya.